You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
This week's Historical Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Ole Penn Real Estate, is Cole Smith. Now, Cole is a Hoquiam High School graduate, and again, send us nominations for your Historical Athletes of the Week. I always love to try and look into more people and try and find out more about them. Some people I get the names of, and I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting, and then I can't find anything about them, so it makes it really hard to do an Athlete of the Week.
The team of realtors at Ole Penn Real Estate wish you and your family good health during this stay home, stay safe time. Their team has health and safety measures in place to protect you and everyone involved in the process. If you're thinking about selling your home, now is a great time. There are more buyers than available homes. Many homes are still receiving multiple offers and are selling for above asking price. Ole Penn Real Estate will help you put the most money possible in your pocket in less time without the hassle. Visit sellmyharborhome.com to get your home market ready. The Ole Penn team is ready to work for you.
But this one is Cole Smith, and he graduated from Hoquiam High School. Then he went on to Washington State University to compete
Cougs.
in track and field. Go Cougs. And he has seen some pretty good success there at the Pac-12 ranks, which is awesome, and also what we've seen from a few of our other athletes of the week, as Justin mentioned, with Carly Freeman down at USC and Jordan Spradlin at Arizona. So with Cole, he's at Washington State University, and run through a little bit of his highlights in his Pac-12 career here. So his Washington State bests, he competes in high jump and javelin, which I thought was interesting. High jump and a throwing event there. And so in high jump, his career best at Wazoo is 2.05 meters, or 6 feet, 8 inches and 3/4 of an inch, I believe is what it is there. And then for javelin, it is 66.16 meters, or I'm assuming this is 217 feet .-1. Again, not a track person, but those are the numbers.
Stupid metric system.
Yeah. And the interesting thing, why I'm trying to list those in both there, is because it differs from high school to college. In college, they use the whole meters thing, and in high school, the numbers look a little different. So in the Pac-12 Championships in 2017, he had a high jump that got him to 13th place, and in javelin, 8th place. So it actually turned out in his college career, he turned out to be a little bit better of a thrower than a jumper, which I thought was interesting when I start to go through some of his high school stuff here. In the NCAA West preliminary performances, so that's even past the Pac-12 champions, but in the West region, his javelin got him all the way up to 13th in that tournament, or meet. I guess, I don't know, which he threw a 66.16 meters, or 217-1. So he's seen some pretty good success there in a really tough field up there in the Division I ranks. But when you start to look at his high school career, that's when we knew him best. And Justin, we covered him a lot in football and basketball, especially in basketball for a couple of pretty good teams there. You start to look through his high school career, he earned 9 letters at Hoquiam High School, 2 letters as a tight end in football, and he had 3 in basketball, 4 in track and field. He had all academic, all years in basketball, football, and track. So again, as we like to mention every time, he did well in his academics when he was still in high school. Love to support that. He was a state participant in 3 sports, 4 consecutive years. So during football season, his senior year, he was a part of that undefeated Grizzly team that was undefeated until they faced Kings. We've talked a lot about that team, definitely. On the basketball court, he earned all-league second team honors as a junior and first team as a senior. He was an excellent basketball player for Hoquiam. He was selected for the All-Academic Coaches Award. During track and field, this is where it really gets to the dominant historical athlete type awards here. This is where he absolutely exploded. So he was a district and state 1A champion in high jump with a 6'4", and a title winner his sophomore year. He repeated both as a junior. He was a state champion his sophomore and junior year with a personal record and school record in the high jump at state with a 6'10", adding sixth place javelin finish with a 167 and 0.5 or -5, and finish as an instrumental in team winning the state title. So his team won the state title as a junior year, which is amazing because it wasn't just him. Like, they had to have a ton of other people doing well at state. As a senior, he was a captain, and he won the Evergreen League title in high jump and in javelin with a personal record distance of 191-8. And then he won his third consecutive state 1A high jump championship with a 6'8", and added a javelin title as well with a 191-2. So just state titles all over the place in track and field with the high jump, and then adding in that javelin as well. So just an absolute stud in track and field, both sophomore, junior, and senior year in the 1A ranks. I'm not sure about this, but I'm wondering, Justin, do you know if it's harder or easier to do it as a tall person? Part of me thinks, yeah, it'd be easier to do it as a tall person to get maybe over that apex on a high jump, but also you're getting more of a body up and over it. But just absolutely ridiculous high jump statistics there from Cole Smith, who won it 3 years in a row, state champ.
Well, I have literally no idea whether it's easier to do it as a tall person or a short person. I would imagine, like, maybe having length would be a little bit of an advantage, but just like athleticism, probably more than height is a bigger factor there, I would imagine. There's a few things that I remember when I think about Cole Smith. And at this point, Daniel, you and I were doing basketball broadcasts for the radio on a fairly regular basis. We covered a lot of Cole in basketball. I also covered him in football as well. I knew of his prowess in track. I don't think I ever actually covered him in track. So when I think about Cole Smith, there's a few things I think about. The first one is, this was a super nice kid, like really humble, really, really nice kid to talk to. And I probably spoke to him as I was covering him. I probably spoke to him maybe 2 or 3 times, but every time he just came across as really humble, really nice kid, very intelligent. He's one of the only kids in our local area that I remember seeing dunk in a basketball game. And also in football, the thing that I remember the most is you and I both wondering why in the world his team didn't throw the ball up to him in the end zone, because he had good hands, he was fast, he was athletic, and he was 6'5" Is that about right? 6'5", you think? 6'6" maybe?
It's funny, on his college ranks here, it says 6'6", but it said he was 6'7" as a freshman, and then 6'6" for the rest of his year. So he was a really tall dude. So
he is at least 6'5" or 6'6", and literally a record-breaking and state champion high jumper. Like, how in the world you didn't occasionally decide, hey, we're inside the 20. Let's have Cole go stand in the end zone and toss the ball up to him. It just didn't happen in their offense. And I remember us screaming for it, but really, really super nice kid. I remember him as a pretty dominant basketball player as well. That was a pretty good team that, I think they probably could have gotten a little further if it weren't for the fact that District 4 was just brutal. So talented during those years that they were probably at their best. And he was the best player on the basketball team, in my opinion. I covered a game in North Beach that I specifically remember him scoring in the 30s. And he actually even made a 3-pointer in that game towards the end, which was not his thing. And I asked him about it, and he kind of commented like, I didn't think I was going to shoot a 3-pointer, but then it was there and everybody was like yelling at me to shoot it. So I just shot it and then it went in. But he scored a buttload of points in high school basketball and was a very talented post player. Obviously, his jumping ability was the thing about him that really stood out. So it is interesting to me to hear that he had such good success with javelin in college, because I didn't even remember that about him at all.
Yeah, it really and I've talked to his dad a little bit. His dad is my pharmacist and my grandma's pharmacist as well.
Small
so
towns.
yeah, exactly. Every now and then I'll get a chance to chat with him, or back when he was at college, I'd ask him, how's Cole doing? And really the javelin thing was like something that really picked up at the end of his senior year in high school and then into college, where he found some really good success with it. And that's not completely out of the realm of what you think about with this kid, because his family are crazy good athletes. And with the javelin throwing and a throwing event, his dad, Dave, was a professional baseball player. He played at Gonzaga, and then he played professionally for the Mariners in their AAA organization. So really good family history to go with there too. And his siblings, I actually was in high school with a couple of his siblings, Kyle, his older brother, and Mackenzie, and they were both crazy good athletes as well. So Kyle played football at Western, and he was a receiver for them there. And he also did track and field at the University of Redlands. His sister Mackenzie competed in basketball and track at Redlands. And then his other sister, Madison, was also on the track team at Redlands. So just chock full of athletes is this family, and they're all some of the nicest kids that you'll ever meet. And playing basketball with Kyle, I loved playing basketball with him. So it's definitely a family that I loved being around and checking in with him. And Cole at Wazoo was just another like awesome moment, because I was like, yeah, Division I athlete, but also he goes to Wazoo where I went, so I was super excited for him. And to see that he had some darn good success there in a couple of different events was really cool to see when looking into it, because we as you mentioned, we loved following him on the football and especially the basketball court. So it was a lot of fun to check into this. He was also a member of the Honor Society at Hoquiam, and he was a sports management major at Wazoo. So who knows? Maybe we'll see him pop up as an agent or something somewhere later down the line, and we can talk about it a little bit more sometime in the future.
Well, I'm still waiting for Hoquiam to throw the ball up to him in the end zone and see if he can get some touchdowns. Again, like you said, super nice kid, just a really, really great kid to root for. Easy kid to root for. So really glad to see him have some success, and I'll be really interested to see what he does with that sports management degree.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, 3 consecutive state 1A high jump championships, and he added the javelin title as well that senior year. So Athlete of the Week, Cole Smith from Hoquiam.
Congratulations, Cole.
Unapologetically from Hoquiam, Cole Smith. He's your Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week.